and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, it is so nice to meet you. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the books that I read in December 2021. So with that being said, I do a video like this at the beginning of every single month talking about the books that I read the previous month, so you guys can get an in-depth review and kind of a little bit of a synopsis in my own words of the books that I read the previous month, and I give you a rating. So I hope you guys enjoy videos like this. I love sharing them with you. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys have not already, I would love it if you guys would subscribe to my channel down below, especially if you like book content, because I have been posting a lot more recently than I have in the past and I'm really enjoying it. And also if you guys could give this video a thumbs up. And now let's go ahead and get started. So the first book I read in December was Twice in a Blue Moon by Christina Lauren, and this book got 5 stars for me. I thought this was a very cute book. I think this was my favorite Christina Lauren book that I had read up until this point, and I really enjoyed it. So basically it is this girl, she meets this guy on a trip to London when she is a teenager, and she kind of has this whirlwind romance, and she has a secret about who she is and she doesn't want anybody to know who she is. And then he kind of sells her story and she becomes an actress later in life, and she meets him on the set of a movie that she is doing. She kind of runs into him again, reconnects, and it's basically called Twice in a Blue Moon because you kind of have a whirlwind romance like that only once in a blue moon. And so it's saying that since she has this whirlwind romance with him twice in a blue moon, if that makes sense. I don't know. I thought it was really cute. I loved how they kind of got to know each other in the beginning, and then it flashes forward to her life and her meeting him all over again. It was a really good book, and I definitely recommend it. And also I read a ton of Christmas books, so you may not want to read any of these right now if you want to wait until the Christmas season, but of course I'm still reading Christmas books because there were a ton that I wanted to read. So the next book is Nick and Noel's Christmas Playlist, and I give this one, by Cody Hall, and I also give this one a 5 stars. I thought this one was really cute. Nick and Noel are childhood friends, and they pretend to date for the sake of making their exes jealous, but they are like over their exes, if that makes sense. And then they decide they actually really like each other, and I thought it was really cute. It is revolving around Christmas. Nick and Noel are very Christmassy names because there's Saint Nicholas, and then Noel, of course, is the word Noel. It's a Christmas word, and it's really fun because this is actually a series, and it takes place in, I think, a city named Christmas maybe, and his name of course is Nick Winter. Just kidding, it doesn't take place in a city named Christmas, but it's still super cute. Christmas tree farm. His family has a Christmas tree farm, and I don't know, it's really cute, so I really liked that one. Next is Meet Me in London by Georgia Tofolo, and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 as well. I was influenced by Carter Sullivan to read this one, and I thought it was super cute because, I don't know, it was just super cute. Anything that has the word London in the title I'm gonna read. But basically there is this girl, she runs into this guy on the street, and they end up pretending to date because his mom is nagging him to bring home a girl for the holidays. So they kind of pretend to date, and obviously pretend dating, we all know how that works. It turns into something more. So I thought that was super cute. Next is Alaskan Holiday by Debbie McComber, and I gave this one a 4 stars. Basically we have this guy and this girl. This girl is visiting Alaska for like 6 months because of the summertime before she starts a new job in Seattle, and then she misses the ferry back to Seattle, so she has to figure out a way to obviously get back to Seattle because she has this really important job waiting for her. And then this guy, they kind of fall in love. He proposes to her right at the beginning of the book, and it's really cute, but I felt like there was just still something to be desired in this. I felt like there was just something that was kind of like missing from this. I don't know. I liked the plot. I think it went really well, but I don't know. There was just something to be desired left in this one, so that's why I couldn't give it 5 stars. Next, it was a super cute one. It was A Cross Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh, and I gave this one 5 stars as well because I thought it was just super cute. Also, I forgot to tell you guys, I am not super critical of my book ratings, so I do tend to give books pretty high scores. Not because I feel bad, but because, I don't know, I started a 5 and then I knock points off, if that makes sense. I have no idea if I'm in focus or not. Next, okay, so I gave that one 5 stars, and this is a girl who, she doesn't love Christmas because she doesn't have a great time around Christmas. Something happened in her past, and she is going home for the holidays for the first time in years, and she hitches a ride with her brother's best friend, and they end up having a lot of chemistry. They're basically driving across the country on their way home for Christmas because they're from the same hometown, but they also live in the same city now, and that's why it's road trips. She thinks it's just gonna be like a day or two getting across the country from California to Illinois, but he ends up wanting to make a bunch of stops and stay in hotels and just like kind of have a spontaneous trip across the country, so it's really cute. Next is The Tourist Attraction by Sarah Morgenthaler, and this is the first of the Moose Springs, Alaska series. I'm actually reading the second one right now, which is Mistletoe and Mr. Right, but I thought this one was gonna take place in the summer, in the Christmas time, I thought it was gonna take place in the winter time, but it actually takes place in the summertime. Basically, this girl is visiting Alaska on a dream trip. She saved up a bunch of money to go to Alaska, and she meets this guy who owns a restaurant called the Tourist Trap, and he actually hates tourists, and he's like a big grump, and she is just like the sweetest person ever and so ready to take on anything that Alaska can throw at her. She wants to see whales, and she wants to see, I don't know, she just wants to see everything that Alaska has to offer. And so she is staying with her friend, and of course they fall in love. I read lots of romances this month. So, 5 out of 5 for me. Next was The 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayless. Basically, there is this girl, she goes on 12 different dates for the holidays. It's like this thing that she signed up for. She goes on all these dates, and in an attempt to find someone to love, of course, and they don't all quite work out because she realizes she's actually in love with someone else, and I thought it was really cute, but I was kind of bored in the first half of it, so I did give it 4 out of 5. Next is Embracing Her Heart by Melissa Foster, and this one was one that I found on Apple Books. That was a free book, so I listened to the audiobook of this. I gave this one a 5 stars as well. I just thought it was really cute. There is this girl who she basically fell in love with this guy when she was in high school, but they broke up because she moved to New York for a producing job, and then she comes back for some reason, and I think it's a producing job. Let me see. She was a screenwriter. She came back home to write a screenplay for her, or to host a screenplay writing class for her sister in her library, and then she ends up falling in love with the same guy from high school, but her family didn't know that they were dating, and so they kind of hit it off again, and I think it's really cute. Next was actually one of my favorites. It only has 3.65 stars on Goodreads, but I really liked it. It was A Magical New York Christmas by Anita Hughes. Basically, there is this girl, she has been hired as a ghostwriter to write the autobiography for this guy who used to be a butler at the Plaza Hotel in New York, and while she's writing this story, she's learning all about his life starting from the very beginning. She's also ending up with a guy, or she like bumps into a guy who thinks that she's rich enough to stay at the Plaza, but actually she's just there because she's on a job, and he makes her think that she's part of the British aristocracy, but he is actually the assistant to a British aristocrat, and so they kind of get to know each other. They're both holding on to the secret that they're not who they say they are, and it's really cute, and it takes place at the Plaza, which is so magical. So yeah, I think it's a really cute book. I give it 5 stars. Next was A Snowy Little Christmas, and I think this is an anthology. It's by Fern Michaels, Tara Sheets, and Kate Claiborne. It is 3 short stories kind of into one, and I gave this one 4 stars because I thought that these stories were cute, but they're short stories, so there's only so much you can do with them. So I just felt like there wasn't a ton of character development. The plots were kind of left something to be desired, but I did give it 4 stars because I thought they were cute. So, but it's called A Snowy Little Christmas because each story takes place where they like get snowed into something, if that makes sense. Next is Always in December by Emily Stone, and I read this one during my 24-hour reading challenge, and I cried so much reading this book. Basically, this girl, her parents died around Christmas time, so she writes them a letter and sends it on Christmas Eve every year, and she decides that she is going to, obviously she's sending them a letter, she's on her way to the post box to send the letter, and she bumps into this guy, and they end up spending the next couple of days together because he missed his flight to New York. This takes place in London, and then he gets on a plane and he doesn't see her again, and I don't know, it's just the ending was so unexpected, and that's why I cried, but 5 stars. 5 stars. It really tugged at my heartstrings. Next was Mistletoe Cottage by Debbie Mason, and I gave this one 5 stars. I thought it was really cute. I got this one in a mystery book box, so it was just kind of sitting there, and I was waiting for it to be December to read it, and I thought it was super cute. Basically, this girl and her daughter, they are back in town after they have been gone for a really long time, and this fireman ends up being friends with her, and they are both like have connections to this manor in town, and I don't know, it was really cute. And then there's like this cottage on the property called the Mistletoe Cottage, and it's really cute. That's really all I can say. Next is We Met in December by Rosie Curtis, and this one is about this girl who, let's see, I gotta read the thing. Okay, yeah, so this girl, she moves into this new house with her friend in London, and they end up, she ends up like falling head over heels for her roommate, or for this new guy that lives in this house with her, and she's like, one of the rules of this place is that we can't date, so she doesn't even try to initiate initiate a relationship because her living situation is just too good to be true, too good to pass up. She's incredibly cheap rent in London, so that's something that's like enticing her to not try to start something with this guy. She has no idea that he's interested in her, so it goes back and forth between their different perspectives. I gave this one 4 stars because there were parts of it that I was kind of bored at, but I also listened to it as an audiobook as well, so maybe that's why I was bored, not really sure, but I thought it was cute. But again, 4 stars. Next is Faking Under the Mistletoe by Ashley Shepherd. I'd never heard of this one, but I saw it on Kindle Unlimited. I gave this one 5 stars as well. I thought it was super cute. Basically, there is this girl who is obsessed with Christmas. She's just obsessed with Christmas. She is all for making Christmas just the best thing ever. And her boyfriend is, not her boyfriend, her boss is a bit of a grump, and she's trying to get him into the holiday spirit. And then he needs her to pretend to be his date for something, and you know what happens. It's a rom-com. It was cute. 5 stars. Next is The Casanova by T.L. Swan, and it is part of the Miles High Club. It is the 3rd book of the series, and I didn't realize that. My friend Kayla really loves this series, so after I saw it, I was like, let's go ahead and take a shot at it. I did give this 4 stars because there is a lot of language in it. Like, it says the F word so many times, and I just couldn't get over how many times it said the word. I really loved the story though, but just the use of excessive cussing was a little bit too much for me. It is a very spicy book, so if you're into that kind of stuff, then this is definitely for you, but the words were just a little bit too much for me. But basically, this guy suddenly is attracted to his employee, and they are trying to pretend like they can just be like friends with benefits and not actually date, not actually like each other. So they come up with this arrangement where they're just going to exclusively be together as friends with benefits, but they're not going to date anybody, and they're not going to date each other, but then they end up falling in love, obviously. And he is like this guy that everyone calls the Casanova because he is seen as a womanizer, so she's hesitant to give her heart to him, and I thought the plot was really good, so I really liked it. It was 4 stars, like I said, for me. Next is a short story, and it was Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I swear this woman never misses. This was so good. It only took me like half an hour to listen to because I listened to it on 3x speed, but I think it would have taken me like an hour and a half if I was like actually reading it. But I give this one 5 stars. Basically, it's about this woman who discovers that her husband is cheating on her, and so she sends a letter to the wife of the woman, the husband of the woman that he's cheating with, so the other woman's husband, and just like lets them know about what's going on, and they basically strike up a friendship, and they write stories back and forth to each other. And then there are also the letters that the other woman and the husband are writing to each other. I don't know, it's really good, very well woven, and I feel like a lot of times short stories leave much to be desired in my opinion. I don't really feel like there is much development, and there's not a huge plot, at least not enough for me to like really hang on to it. I don't feel like plots are usually developed very well in short stories, but I feel like this one was developed incredibly well, so it got 5 stars for me. Next is so cute, and I'm really annoyed with myself because this is the sequel to the first book. I wish I would have read the first one first, but it is Duke Actually by Jenny Holiday, and I feel like Holiday is the perfect last name for her because this takes place around Christmas. But basically, this guy, he is the Baron, soon to be Duke, of this small European country. He is the Baron of this small European country, and the girl is the best friend of, okay, let me back up. Their best friends are getting married. So his best friend is a princess, and her best friend is just a taxi driver from New York, and those 2 people are getting married. So they're the best man and the maid of honor for this wedding. And they decide to get to know each other a little bit because of this wedding situation, and they have met before. He's in New York, so he's like, hey, do you want to meet up just because we know each other and you're the only person I really know in New York? So that kind of happens. She's kind of in the middle of a divorce. She's trying to kind of figure that out, and of course, you know what happens. They fall in love. It always happens that way. Anyway, I thought it was really cute, so I got 5 stars for me. Next was very highly anticipated for me, and I hope that no one comes for me when I give you my rating for it, but it is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I said just a second ago with the short story that she never misses, but I feel like my rating on this was a little bit biased based on the hype that surrounds it. I have said this once, I will say it a million times more. A book is never overhyped, because if it is hyped, it means that enough people feel very strongly about it to give it an incredible rating. So do not say that I'm not saying this book is overhyped. However, this book received so much hype, and I also really loved Malibu Rising by her. So for me, there was just something about it. I said 4 stars, but it's because you can't do half stars on Goodreads. So actually it gets 4.5 stars for me. There's just something about it that didn't live up to the hype in my opinion. But if you love this book, please. I thought it was incredible. It was beautifully written. The whole storyline was absolutely incredible, but there was just just a little bit of something that kept me from giving that extra half star. And I don't know what it is, but I just cannot give it 5 stars. Does that make sense? Basically, it's this girl who is writing a biography about Evelyn Hugo, who is this world-class, world-famous, let's think like Marilyn Monroe kind of fame and like that time frame. I feel like they probably get a lot of inspiration from the life of her as well, but she ends up having 7 husbands and the world wants to know what's up with that. So she ends up writing the story of all the husbands. So only a few more to go. Okay, 5 more to go. I swear I read so many books in December. Next is A Convenient Christmas, and this is by Jodie Holford, and I really had no idea what it was going into this. I just knew it was Christmas, had a pretty rom-com-y cover, so I was like, let's go for it. I give this one 5 out of 5 because it was just so cute. Basically, this girl owns this company called A Convenient Christmas, and she is like a decorator and an event planner kind of thing, but like her main thing that she does is plan Christmas. So she is decorating this guy's house when he comes in and sees her decorating and is like, what are you doing in my house? That kind of thing. And then of course they spend a lot more time together because he realizes that he should probably get in the Christmas spirit. So it's cute. You know what happens. You definitely know what happens. Forced proximity. Yeah. 3 more. Nope, 4 more. Next is So This Is Christmas by Tracy Andreen, and this girl, I give this 4 stars, by the way. I was just a tiny bit bored of it. I almost didn't want to finish it, but it ended up being really cute at the end. But basically, there is this girl who goes to a boarding school, and at the very beginning of the book, you see her have this encounter with this boy, and then she goes home for Christmas, deciding she's not going to go back to this boarding school, and she goes home for Christmas to a city called Christmas in Oklahoma, and she's like super hyped up this place because she doesn't want people to think she's lame or from like a really uncool place. So she hypes it up a lot, and this guy that she has encountered with at the beginning of the book ends up going to Christmas, Oklahoma for the Christmas holiday, and it's super cute. But like I said, I was a little bored in the first half. Next is another Christmas book. It is Kiss the Girl by Melanie Jacobson, and this one gets 5 stars for me. Let me read the synopsis really quickly. Okay, so there's this girl, she meets this guy at a wedding for her friend. She is staying in town because her dad had cancer and she was taking over his hardware store for her, and so no, she was taking over the hardware store for him while he was healing. So she is planning on going back to where she lives, and then she meets this guy and she's like, we can't be in a relationship. I really like you, and I think if I was staying here, we would be great together, but I'm not staying here, so I don't want to start something with you because I'm not planning on living here. You know what happens. You know what happens. So that's pretty much it for me. Next, it was my very first Kristen Hanna book. It is Comfort and Joy, and when was this written? 2005. I didn't realize this was so old. Okay, well, it was Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna, and I gave this one 5 stars, and I thought this was really cute. Basically, this girl, she used to love Christmas, but then she is getting divorced, and she's just having a really hard time getting into the Christmas spirit, and so she decides to randomly take a trip. She goes to the airport. She's like, where should I go? She sees this plane going to this place called Hope in Canada. So she gets on a plane, and then there's a plane crash. She gets up, walks away from the plane crash, and she lives this whole life, and I was fully unexpected. Like, everything about this book was fully unexpected, but also, like, I don't know, I thought it was really cute, so definitely 5 stars, and it was definitely very much like appreciating your life kind of thing. And the last book I read in December 2021 is Without Merit by Colleen Hoover, and this was, I am like slowly working my way through all of Colleen Hoover's books. I started with her the very first book that I read by her was in like 2019, so I'm slowly working my way through all of them, but this one I got from the library. Basically, this family lives in a repurposed church. The mother lives in the basement. The father is married to mother's, I'm just gonna read the description. Not every mistake deserves a consequence. Sometimes the only thing it deserves is forgiveness. The Voss family is anything but normal. They live in a repurposed church, newly baptized Dollar Voss. The once cancer-stricken mother lives in the basement. The father is married to the mother's former nurse. The little half-brother isn't allowed to do or eat anything fun, and the eldest siblings are irritatingly perfect. Then there's Merit. Merit Voss collects trophies she hasn't earned and secrets her family forces her to keep. While browsing the local antique shop for her next trophy, she finds Sagan. His wit and unapologetic idealism disarm and spark renewed life into her until she discovers that he's completely unavailable. Merit retreats deeper into herself, watching her family from the sidelines when she discovers the secret that no trophy in the world can fix. Fed up with the lies, Merit decides to shatter the happy family illusion that she's never been a part of. When her escape plan fails, Merit is forced to deal with the staggering consequences of telling the truth and losing the boy she loves. I don't know why this has 3.9 reviews, like 3.89 stars. One person even gave it like 1 star, but I thought it was really good. It was different, in my opinion, than a lot of the books that I've read by her. And whenever I say different, I mean like the voice almost felt like John Green to me. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but the voice of this book, the voice of the character, which is narrated by Merit, just felt very John Green to me. I don't know. I really liked it. I do think that it's very important to note that there are some triggers in here. So if you have any kind of thing like that, definitely check your trigger warnings. Luckily, I don't have that because I definitely wasn't expecting the trigger warnings in here, but I thought it was really cute. 5 stars for me. So I think I read 23 books in December. That was a lot of books. I've been talking for 25 minutes and I have 3 more videos to film, and the sun is slowly making its way on the other side of the horizon. So I should probably hurry up and finish. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below. Also, I want to show you my new t-shirt. It has a shark on it. I went to an aquarium in Tennessee the other day and I got this t-shirt because it has a shark. So anyway, that's all I have. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.